The UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is expected to confirm that the British government will issue 100 licenses to companies that want to extract oil and gas from the North Sea. Well, the government is also expected to announce 2 new licenses for carbon capture and storage in the North Sea. Well, this in an attempt to mitigate the environmental impact of maxing out production of the North Sea's oil and gas reserves. Well, these moves, they are set to announce during Sunak's trip to Scotland. We're awaiting these announcements on that trip. Now, for him, fossil fuels are a key part of Britain's transition to net zero.
That we're living through a time at the moment where inflation is high. That's having an impact on household and families' bills. And I don't want to do anything to add to that. I want to make it easier. So yes, we're going to make progress towards net zero, but we're going to do that in a proportionate and pragmatic way that doesn't unnecessarily give people more hassle and more costs in their life. That's what I'm not interested and prepared to do. But we are making progress towards net zero. Our track record on this is better than the vast majority of other countries that we're compared to. So people should be proud of that, but also should be reassured that what I'm not going to do is unnecessarily add costs to their families' bills.
Well, this move is expected to deepen the rift between the Tories and the Labour Party. Labour is opposed to issuing new oil and gas licenses due to environmental concerns. It says it will revoke any licenses that have not reached the final stages if it wins the general election in 2025. Now, Rishi Sunak lashed out against the Labour Party and said that what Keir Starmer doesn't realise is that people don't want to risk the lights going out. We need fossil fuels as part of the transition to net zero. Banning North Sea and gas, like the Labour Party suggests, will weaken our energy security and strengthen dictators like President Putin. Well, the Labour Party, however, argues that Britain should be pushing for more renewables instead of subsidising new oil and gas. Well, a spokesperson from the party said the government's move to continue with a failed plan would hamper the nation's climate commitments. So just to reiterate the situation here in the UK, we know the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is going on a trip to Scotland, and we are expecting him to confirm that the British government will issue 100 licenses to companies that want to extract oil and gas from the North Sea. And the government is also expected to announce 2 new licenses for carbon capture and storage in the North Sea. Now, these moves are expected to be announced, as I say, on this trip to Scotland that Rishi Sunak is currently on. And we know that fossil fuels are a key part of Britain's transition to net zero. However, this move will have political implications because it is expected to deepen the rift between the Tories and the Labour Party, who sit very differently on this issue. So the Labour Party is opposed to this move and is expected to vocally oppose this. They are opposed to issuing new oil and gas licenses due to environmental concerns. It says it will revoke any licenses that have not reached the final stages if they win the general election, the next general election. But Rishi Sunak has lashed out against the Labour Party, and he said that what Keir Starmer doesn't realise is that people don't want the lights to go out. I believe we've got our London correspondent with us now. Alex Isaac is joining us for more on this. So when it comes to this announcement, many people will be pleased about it. More jobs, positive for the economy. Many people are going to be angry and upset, not least the Labour Party. It goes against their stance towards environmental issues. Oil campaigners as well. It's going to be a very difficult one to please everybody on this.
Well, absolutely. It's always going to be quite difficult when it comes down to fossil fuels and how we utilise them. And Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister, has said that we do need to ensure that we are able to have our own power, and that's why he's giving away these licences. But there are going to be many questions around exactly how they're going to be utilised and whether or not those energy companies will ensure that the energy given into the UK is going to those within the UK, or is it going out to profits? We have a problem at the moment with some of our oil lines that a lot of those profits are coming because they're exporting that oil. So there does need to be a conversation about going forward. At the moment, we do know that wind farms also do give like a huge amount of electricity, and that's what Labour has been suggesting to go forward, adding more wind farms. But then they are technically, a blight. They have to be put in. A lot of people complaining about them. It is really a rock and a hard place. But this is a contentious situation, specifically in Scotland, because it was one of the pushes when SNP wanted to have an independence referendum. They said that they would be able to ensure that everyone in Scotland would be able to get as much from the North Sea oil, and they would be able to power their own economy. And of course, the Indie Ref didn't come about. But now that the UK government is suggesting that this could give a huge range of power and therefore help with fossil fuels, that's going to be quite interesting take on as well with the next elections and what Labour are going to be trying to push forward. They want to get net zero. Rishi Sunak says he also wants net zero. So we're going to be seeing what happens as he goes today to Aberdeenshire.
Alex Isaac, thank you so very much indeed, following Rishi Sunak on the way up to Scotland to talk about those new energy deals.